before the person's actually face-to-face. And oftentimes they never will be, because the popularity of remote work is happening. Maybe they're in the same time zone, so there's not a huge discrepancy there. But a lot of these people may be remote. They don't even come into the office. We're seeing an increase on that application. But I got to interview these individuals. And so we know that resumes are written by the salesperson. We know that 30% of them, according to the statistics, are filled with errors, is prone to 20 or 30% of what's in there is prone to be a lie or a distortion. It doesn't necessarily translate sometimes in many ways anyway. The personality assessments that we give them are one thing, but should never be more than 25 or 30% of the entire process or decision making. We promote doing a real skills test, an actual, like, show me how it works. And with administrative assistants and admins, CCs, we can give them software. You can say, hey, organize this, enter this data, make this Excel spreadsheet do what I need it to do, and so on and so forth. Find the errors and the typos. ISAs, before I go, because we do filtering, we talk about stacking filters. One of the first filters we talk about is a phone screen. So if you are going to meet them, before you invest 30 or 60 minutes to sit down face-to-face, what can I do on the phone to be pragmatic? I mean, like real world, show me what you got, instant stuff.
Yes, and we've talked about this before, and this is my favorite, which is so the first thing we do is we have them leave a voicemail for us, and we just have an open-ended question that they have to answer. Something like, in your own words, tell me why you're the best fit for this position. So right there, we can hear, do you have proper grammar and diction, or what we're willing to accept? And can you answer a random question you didn't know about on the fly? And how do you sound doing it? Do you make any sense? Do I want to talk to you? Right? That can be, it's as simple as that, right? Do you sound like somebody I want to talk to? Because I guarantee you're going to get recordings from people you probably don't want to talk to. Now let's assume that they pass that, they sound great. Let's go to the next step. Then we just role play with them. Here's the key though. And I've worked with so many teams and so many agents across the country helping them do this stuff. When we say role play with them, that can mean a lot of different things that are very unproductive and don't actually tell you anything. So what we created is a script that we follow, and we give this person the script that they're going to play an agent. And most of the time they've never done this before, or at least they haven't done it for real estate, right? So we just take one of those old school FSBO scripts. It's like a bold from KW or Mike Ferry script, and we modify it, right? It's just this like list of questions that is the old school way of doing scripts. We give that to them and we say, you're going to play an agent and I'm going to play a for sale by owner. Then we tell them two critical things. One is your goal is to set an appointment with me, set a face-to-face appointment with me, right? So we tell them the goal, and I'll tell you why we do that. And then the other thing we say is, listen, the only way you fail this exercise is if you let me off the phone before you ask all your questions.
So you do tell them?
I tell them that, absolutely. And here's why, Jay. The reason I tell them that is because the very first person I'm going to weed out is the person who still lets me off the phone after I gave them that explicit instruction.
Wow. Okay. So it's that blatant.
Yes.
Even knowing you fail, they're going to, okay, go ahead. That's cool.
No, and people do that. And listen, if I'm telling you on your first interview, you're going to fail if you do this, and you chicken out and do it, there's no way in hell I'm going to hire you to do this job, because once you're out from under my eye and you're on the phone, you're going to be chickening out on everybody, right?
Give me examples. What do you mean chickening out?
Just where if you don't have the stones to stay in the role play with me, because I'm going to object to you and I'm going to use some stuff that's going to make you want to let me go so you don't sound like a bad person, right?
How mean do you get? Like, really, there's a fire in the kitchen. I have, I mean, what's your favorite example?
But I will be like, listen, man, my kids are playing in the yard. I really can't talk right now. If you're going to let me off the phone at that, if you're like, I can't be a bad guy, I gotta go. You're just not going to have you're not going to have the fuel. You're not going to have the strength to stay in there and talk to 60 and 70 people a day and push 60 to 70 people out of their comfort zone over and over again if you can't do it with me.
Interesting. what's the frequency of people that you see wash out like that? What's the dropout rate? And what first, where do you, how far in, how many questions are you talking about on average?
Oh,
Eight,
it's probably,
seven?
I think there's like 12 questions or something like that on there. Maybe.
And how far in do you put some hook like that? Is it right up front, or do you hit them with the
That one's near the end.
near
So
the
we
end?
just
Okay.
increasingly go up to where
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I'm not using an agent. Thanks anyway. To,
Okay.
hey, listen, I don't really know and I don't have time to talk right now. And then we escalate to, listen, this is what's going on. I got to get off the phone. Right. And so we want to, so what you have to have, you can't teach the push. You can't teach tenacity, right? I can teach you everything else, but you cannot be taught that instinct to keep going and to keep asking. If
Yeah.
you don't have it, you will never have it. That's it.
What's your washout rate, you think?
Oh man. From the role play,
Yeah.
we probably keep, I would say it's somewhere between, we only keep half of the people that we role play with.
Wow.
We're down to even maybe 25%, 25% to half of the people we role play with. We move to the next thing that we do, which is they actually have to make live phone calls to people on a recorded line within a certain period of time. And we want to see them get a certain number of contacts made in that time period. And if they can get an appointment set, those are bonuses. And if they can't set any appointments, that's a concern.
Even in, but you still give them the raw knowledge they need to set those? Is that what's happening in between those two attempts?
Yeah, basically we move them from the role play if they do well on the role play. And there's other things that we're looking for in that role play to determine whether or not we think they're going to be successful. If they're good in the role play, then we move them to the calling session and we'll teach them a basic script.
Very cool.
Have them start making calls.